Hello there, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to Brandon's birthday month.
Yes, welcome all, dude. I'm
the
so
first day
excited.
of February. Yeah,
dude, our guest is the best present you could ask for.
Absolutely, that and your turtle junk.
Yeah, and I got the present from Christopher. Just came in the mail today.
Good. We love it. I am so happy that finally got there. This is the 132nd episode of this amazing podcast, The Political Spotlight. We are here. It is Thursday if you're watching live, and it's whatever day you choose it to be. If you're watching in repeat, we want to thank you, whichever way you're watching. Wherever you're watching from, whether it be YouTube or Facebook or Twitter or Rumble, or if you're listening or whatever else that you're doing, thank you. Please consider giving us a subscription, subscribing however you do, wherever you're at. Specifically, if you're on YouTube, consider hitting that thumb, giving us a like, subscribing. If you have not, hit the bell. Please comment if you're watching live, because we are a very interactive show, and we're going to have a guest that likes answering questions. He's not afraid of citizens. He's not trying to make bills that stop us from redressing government or asking questions. He actually likes people. It's amazing. If you're watching on repeat, please comment in the comment section below, because we will comment to you there. And above all else, share the show with everyone you know. This is a big show because we've got a big guest on. Probably at least once a year, we like to talk to a man named Donald Rainwater. But definitely in these specific election years, when it turns out that he's running for governor of the state of Indiana, we say, hey, we probably ought to have him on. In the other older podcast, Perception is Reality, back in 2020 during the end of the world pandemic situation, we had him on a couple times and enjoyed talking with candidate Rainwater, and liked being part of that process of getting him to becoming one of the most prominent libertarians in the state that's done some amazing work. And now it is 2024, and we want to be a part of helping him become the next governor of the state of Indiana. And what?
Oh, yeah.
Absolutely. And so to do that, we want to bring him on. Now, we already have dates set up with him today, and we've got a couple other dates later on in the year. So this is going to be kind of like a series, but we're going to go ahead and without further ado, we're going to bring him on Mr. Donald Rainwater. How are you doing, sir?
Well, I'm doing all right. How are you guys doing?
All right. We love having you here and love
I
talking
love
to you.
being here. I can't think of anybody's podcast that I have enjoyed any more than I have the time that you and I get to spend together talking about what's wrong and how we can fix it.
I tell you, I love that, and I bet you say that to all the girls, but we can take it, and I love it, and we love having you here. I think this is probably like the 5th or 6th time that we've got together and talked.
I would say so.
And it's always an educational time, and I like that the citizens get a chance to hear from you and hear about liberty and hear from a politically educated, maybe constitutionally minded education candidate. And so that's really cool. So we might as well just start it off. Obviously, you're running as a libertarian for governor. This is your 2nd run. And so tell us kind of where we are. It's the beginning of February. So where's the campaign? How's things going? And where are you at right now in time?
Sure. So first of all, I am a Libertarian candidate at this point. The Libertarian Party has their state convention the first weekend in March in Fishers, Indiana. And unlike the 2 old parties that make the citizens pay to pick their candidates in these primaries, we are privately funded. We fund ourselves. We pay for our own convention. We don't use taxpayer dollars to do that. And we pick our candidates at convention. And so we'll go to the convention the first weekend in March. I am hopeful and confident that I will get the party's nomination. And then we will wait to see who the Republicans and the Democrats decide to nominate. 2 sides of the same coin. It's not Republicans versus Democrats. It's those 2 old parties against the citizens.
Yes. Yeah, absolutely.
We'll see who they put up, and we'll run against them.
Absolutely. I think that's great. Sorry, go ahead.
No. I was just going to say, my focus right now is to raise as much money as I possibly can. If you've been following the Republican field, there are 5 or 6 candidates running for the Republican nomination, and the majority of them have several $1 million each. Some of them have loaned several $1 million to their campaigns themselves because they're multimillionaires. Why in the world a multimillionaire with successful business interests would want to be governor of the state of Indiana for what is now going to be about $190,000 a year salary? I can only assume. I can't understand it, other than the fact that these people know that they're going to be able to manipulate government while they're governor to financially benefit themselves after they leave. That's why most of these folks do what they do. Either they are, either they're trying to get the interstate put in southern Indiana that goes by their trucking business, their logistical business, so that their business will thrive at the expense of Hoosier landowners in southern Indiana, or, who knows? I've never understood why it is that we as voters don't look at these people and go, there can be no good reason why you're running to be governor that's going to benefit me.
Right.
Mm-hmm.
Right. But we don't. We hop on board the gravy train. We're not the ones that are getting the gravy, but we hop on board the train and we keep voting for people, and then we keep complaining that government isn't. Why do my property taxes keep going up? I vote Republican because they're for small government and lower taxes. They've been a supermajority for over a decade. Why are my property taxes going up? Because you keep voting for Republicans. And they know it.
Yes.
They can do whatever they want.
Yes.
Because you say, I'm a Republican, so I have to vote Republican.
Right.
Let me tell you something. I love the Indiana Pacers. And I love the Indianapolis Colts. But I don't get paid by any of them. I don't run the floor. I'm not on the field. I am not an Indianapolis Colt. I am not an Indiana Pacer. I'm a fan. I want them to win. I root for them. I spend money on their stuff. But I'm not one of them. And it pains me so much to hear people say, oh, I'm a Republican. If you don't pay dues to the Republican Party, if you're not a delegate to their state convention, all you are is a fan.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
And if your team isn't treating you right, maybe you should root for somebody else.
Yeah.
Absolutely.
Yeah, I think it's interesting that you mentioned that the libertarians pay to determine their own candidates, because it's funny, as taxpayers, we're paying all this money for the Republican and Democrat primaries, and at the same time they're trying to legislate any way they can to completely control those and to really kind of limit the citizens' ability to either run in said party or really nominate and elect a good candidate. It's craziness. So I really like how the Libertarian Party does it. I mean, at least as far as not making us pay for it.
Well, and not only that, but, the Libertarian Party doesn't go and have rules in place to keep people off the ballot that they don't want on the ballot.
Exactly.
Yes.
Now, you may not win, but if you are a member of the Libertarian Party and you fill out the paperwork, you can run against me at the Libertarian Convention. And that's fine.
Well, yeah, you've
Let's
got just
go.
as much chance as anybody else.
Mm-hmm.
And to that point, I want to talk to you about two things that you've mentioned here in your intro.
Yes, sir. Go right ahead.
And that is first, this idea, and I hear all the time, and I kind of argue this back and forth with my grandfather. We sit around and talk about politics a lot, and it's something that people hear all the time. That libertarian, and matter of fact, there's someone that's pushing this mantra right now, who is actually a candidate, a libertarian candidate, that's going to be going to convention. That basically that candidate is not going to win. You're not going to win because libertarians can't win. And we were talking before we went live. That's not true. Tell me why that's not true, and tell me why that's a false narrative.
Well, so first of all, that's not true because libertarians have won elections, and there are libertarians serving in elected capacities in the state of Indiana and across the country today.
Yeah.
So when somebody says, well, we're not going to win. Well, of course you're not, because you're not trying. But what you're referring to is what we talked about prior to coming on the podcast, which is what I'm telling people all over the state of Indiana. And I'm actually going to be going to LibertyCon in Washington, D.C. I'm flying out tomorrow afternoon. I'm going to be there over the weekend raising money for the campaign, because it's not that libertarians can't win elections. It's that we don't know how to raise money. Because the reality is, and I believe this to be true, in 2020, we raised about $450,000 and we got about 345,000 votes. It works out to approximately, I think, $1.18 a vote. So if you extrapolate that out, you do some math, and I know those of us who went to public school here in the state of Indiana may not have got the best education possible. At least that's what our Republican supermajority is telling us today. And we can talk about that more in a few minutes. But, you know, if you extrapolate the math out, I believe that if we get around 1.2 million, maybe 1.3 million votes, we win this thing. Well, to do that, I need to raise about $2 million, because what we really need to be able to do is remember that the old parties still do direct mail.
Yep.
And just about everybody, unless you live in your car, just about everybody's got a mailbox. And you're going to get those 4x6 or 5x7 postcards ad nauseum.
Yeah.
Well, it takes a lot of money to do that mailing to all the registered voters in the state of Indiana. But if we don't do that, we're at a disadvantage. But it takes money to do it.
Absolutely. And
TV, if you haven't seen Brad Chambers' TV commercial where he says he's the only outsider running for, let me tell you something. He was appointed by Governor Holcomb to be the Secretary of Commerce for the state of Indiana. His campaign manager is the most recent GOP state chairman. If there's anybody more inside, I've never met him. The only outsider is the bald fat guy you're talking to right now. I'm a political outsider. Right. I don't have any of those connections. I haven't already raised $4 or $5 million. Eli Lilly's not knocking on my door trying to hand me a check. So, but we've got to be able to compete toe to toe with them. Mm-hmm. Those TV commercials, those direct mail slicks, all that stuff. The radio ads, the tech. I don't know how many text messages I've gotten from Donald Trump in the last week. Now that stuff works, or they wouldn't do it.
Yeah.
Right? Social media advertising. You got to be able to do this stuff because they're creating a lot of white noise. Like I said, Brad Chambers and Mike Braun both say they're outsiders. And they're both, I mean, Mike Braun's been a U.S. Senator for 6 years, was a state senator before that. And he's got, he's got as much money as God. So he's politically connected. To call himself an outsider makes him a liar. In my opinion. But that's just me.
Yeah.
Anyway, we need to be able to raise money, which is why I'm going to ask people to go to rainwaterforindiana.com. Right there it is. Donate-2. If you want, and here's the thing. I don't care if it's because you want to donate so that you don't have to give that money in taxes to the state government next year. Now, remember, your political donations are not tax deductible. But if you give it to me, they can't take it from you because you've already gotten rid of it and given it to me. And at least I'm willing to look at you straight in the face and say, as your next governor, I will sign the Americans for Tax Reform Taxpayer Protection Pledge, which says that as governor, I will oppose and veto any and all attempts to raise taxes. Which means if they bring a state budget, a biennial budget that has any tax increases in it, I will veto that sucker.
Oh, yeah.
Now, you show me one of these Republican kids, even Axe the Tax Suzanne is not willing to say, I'll freeze the state budget or I'll veto the budget if it has any tax increases. I'm willing to do that. I'm willing to say that because I think it's the right thing to do. We just had a biennial budget passed last year that added more money to the budget than has ever been added in the history of the state of Indiana by a Republican supermajority, folks, with a $6 billion surplus. And they say they can't. Now, and here again, they say they can't reduce your taxes. They can't do away with the income tax. Income taxes are immoral and unethical, but they can't completely get rid of it because they need that revenue. But they didn't need the 35. Everybody's heard that Meta is coming to Jeffersonville, right? They're building a data center for Meta, Facebook.
Yeah.
Down there in Jeffersonville. $800 million worth of investment. Here's what they're not telling you. They gave Meta a 35-year data center sales and use tax exemption. What that means is every piece of equipment they buy for that data center, they don't have to pay sales tax on it in the state of Indiana. But not only that, but they don't have to pay the electric bill for 30 or the sales tax, pardon me, on the electric bill for 35 years.
Oh, must be nice.
Your property taxes are going up, but Meta doesn't have. Here again, why are we giving these huge tax incentives to corporations that have more money than they know what to do with? I mean, we're talking about billionaires. Zuckerberg is a billionaire.
Yeah.
But the state of Indiana wants to take the program away that pays parents who have to stay at home and take care of their medically ill child or parent because there's $1 billion shortfall in Medicaid. Here's an idea. Charge these corporations the taxes that are in the Indiana tax code and let the citizens have a little break. How about we cap the property tax at 1% of the purchase price of your property, limit that to 7 years so that the most you ever pay in property taxes is 7%, just like the sales tax. And you can either pay it when you close on the property, or you can pay it 1% a year for 7 years, and then you're done. It does away with asset forfeiture. It does away with senior citizens on a fixed income having to sell their forever home where they raise their kids and have all these memories because they can't afford the property taxes because Meta needs a 35-year exemption. Come on, man. When are we going to wake up and realize that we are not Republicans, we are not Democrats, we are Hoosiers being used like hamsters on a wheel for the revenue that we can generate, that they then take and give to somebody else for somebody else's benefit. But we keep voting for these people. Now, what does that make them bad, or does that make us stupid? That's my problem.
Yeah.
Right? I need people to understand the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, they do not represent us. They represent labor unions. They represent corporations. They don't represent us. No. We don't have, there are 100 state senators or state representatives and 50 state senators in the Indiana General Assembly, and not a one of them that's there right now represent the people that voted them in.
Oh,
not a one.
Don't get us started on that.
Now, when Kurt Nisley and John Jacob were still in the General Assembly, those gentlemen represented the people who voted for them. But that's why they're not there anymore, because the Republican Party made sure they gerrymandered and then primaried them out.
Yep.
Sorry.
Went
on a long rant there,
no.
But had a lot. There's, you just can't read the paper or watch the TV or talk to your neighbor without getting mad.
Yeah.
Now, I got mad and decided I was going to run for office. I'm still mad. I'm running again.
Right.
And if you're mad, please go to rainwaterforindiana.com, click that donate button. I need your help. We need to raise $2 million. The sooner we raise it, the sooner we can start working on $3 million.
Yeah. Yeah.
Because that's the only way we win. The only way we take our government back.
Right. Right.
Is to take our government back. God bless them. I have so many friends that talk about, that they're gonna get the Republican Party back from the inside. That's never going to happen.
Yeah, that's done.
It's not going to happen. The only way we get our government back is from the outside.
Yeah. Well, and
that's just one man's opinion.
I want Brandon to kind of talk a little bit about what we've been going on here and ask some kind of hit on that. But just real quick before he does, I just want people to know, for the people out there that say, well, politics shouldn't be about the money, whatever. The difference between what Don is saying and what the other candidates are saying is with all of the citizens donating and individual people donating $5 or $10 or $100 or whatever you can donate to him is grassroots. That's different than Eli Lilly and the corporations and the people back in Washington, D.C. and all of these big corporations donating to their buddies. That's not a grassroots movement. That's the money that we want out of politics. I don't have a problem with a politician going directly to the people and asking, hey, it's kind of like a value for value thing. We talk about it here on the podcast all the time. If you support what's going on with Rainwater, or that goes for your county council or your county commissioner, if you've got a candidate that's running against a system that you don't like, and you can't go out and knock doors or you can't make phone calls, maybe the way that you help that candidate is to donate $50, $100, $5. It all works and it all adds up together in the end. So I want people to kind of wrap their minds around that. That's all I want to say about that. But Brandon, if you've got anything.
Oh, I've got a bajillion questions. So first of all, I agree with pretty much everything you've said. I've become very disillusioned with the Republican Party. We've been very critical of the Republican Party, though I'd always identified as a Republican. And it'd probably be pretty easy for people to say, well, you need to stop all this challenging. You sound like a Democrat or whatever, and it's all this two-party fighting stuff. But the problem is, I don't necessarily disagree with the Republican Party. I disagree with these Republicans that make up the Republican Party in Indiana, because as a Republican, for example, I would support things like lower taxes. Like you said, what have they been doing about that? I support our veterans. My representative voted against helping our veterans by lowering their taxes.
Right.
So it's very frustrating right now. My representative has put forward that bill, and I think you've probably been asked about it, the HB 1338, which we've been kind of railing against. It seems like I can see why people at face value would be like, it's the one on the decorum in public meetings. I could see it.
Oh, I have a big problem with that.
Okay, yeah, that's what I was going to ask you. I mean, at face value, I could see that, they're saying, well, people should be polite. Well, sure, in an
But
ideal
who
world.
decides what polite is?
Exactly. So
See, I just interrupted you mid-sentence. Am I being disruptive? Throw me out.
Well, that's your first warning. You get
That's
3
your
per
first
this
warning.
bill before we arrest you and charge you with a felony. But
Yeah.
no,
Yeah,
go ahead
well,
and share your thoughts.
Let me jump in again. That's number 2. And here's the thing, right? And you're exactly right. The problem with that bill, first of all, is it's vague. Mm-hmm. Which is what the 2 old parties today, that's what they do. They write vague legislation so that the executive branch has broad opportunity to infringe on the citizens' rights. Mm-hmm. And because they know most citizens don't have the funding to get the lawyer necessary to go to the judicial branch and have that law struck down. And this is the thing that's wrong. Here's one of the big problems with one party rule anywhere, in a state, in a city, in a country. The checks and balances go out the window. The whole idea of 3 separate but equal branches of government: legislative, executive, and judicial, is so that they can check and balance each other, so that none of those 3 can have undue authority or power to do things outside of what is constitutional. People forget the Constitution, whether it's the U.S. Constitution or the Constitution of the state of Indiana, are designed to restrict government, to limit government. And the 3 branches are there to limit each other, to keep each other in line. But when they're all run by the same organization, and let's be honest, the Republican Party, the Democrat Party, they are huge, financially hefty organizations. And right now, the Republican organization runs the state of Indiana. We don't have government of the people, by the people, for the people in the state of Indiana. We have government of the Republican donors, for the Republican donors, by the Republican donors in the state of Indiana. Mm-hmm. And if you're not a Republican donor, you don't have a voice. I was actually, and again, I know I'm going a little bit down a rabbit hole,
You're
but
fine.
there's a reason.
Yeah.
If you go out to the Indiana Economic Development Corporation's website,
oh boy.
And I posted this. I'm going to pull this up real quick. I apologize. I'm going to see if I can find this, because I want to read exactly what this says to the folks watching. Because this when I read this, it made me sick to my stomach, literally. Let me see if I can find this. Where was it? Here it is. So this is on the iedc.in.gov/IED-foundation. They're asking for donors to a government agency, patron level. Through their contributions, patron level donors have a voice in the direction of our state, showing their support for the initiatives that are important to their community.
Oh my God.
Folks, that is targeted to corporations, not to you and me. Corporations to donate to the Indiana Economic Development Corporation to have a voice in our state. Now, if you read that or hear that, and it doesn't make your skin crawl because you realize that the people running the state of Indiana today don't consider you to have a voice in the direction of our state because you pay taxes, but they are actively marketing corporations to donate to the Indiana Economic Development Corporation to have a voice in the direction of the. Do you understand, folks? It's not government of, by, and for the people in Indiana. It's of, by, and for the donor. And it's not individual donor. It's not like what I'm asking. Ooh, you guys found it.
Yeah.
That just.
That is mind-boggling.
Oh, that's Indiana, baby.
Yeah.
That's where we live.
Yep.
And you know what? You talk. I tell people all the time. I couldn't live. I was stationed in San Diego, California, for almost a year when I was in the Navy. I couldn't live in California today. I don't care how much you paid me. I would not live. New York, New Jersey, no thanks. No way. But you know what? A state like Indiana, the way we're being abused for corporate benefit, and we brag about how red we are as a state. I apologize. I'm going to say something that's probably going to offend a lot of people, but I'm going to say it anyway. When you brag about how Republican this state is, please bend over and grab your ankles while you do it. I'm so tired and so angry at how we, the people, are letting this Republican supermajority. Oh, and Rhonda, you're exactly right. Both Republicans and Democrats are neither one. No way.
Yeah.
But we've got to do something. We've got to get back to the fact that government is supposed to be of, by, and for the people. The government of the state of Indiana belongs to the people. The governor is supposed to be a public servant, serving the people, safeguarding the people's individual rights, not going out there and playing kissy poo, or what's the slap and tickle with every corporation that comes along. And that's what our governor has done for the last 8 years, which is why I tell people all the time, one of the first things I'm going to do is get the whole list of executive orders from the last 8 years and start repealing everything that should have never been done in the first place.
Yes.
Because And I'm sorry, and I know there are a lot of folks out there probably watching who have been Republican-minded, Republican voters all their lives. I pretty much was until 2016. But I'm driving down the road one day. If you've never heard this story, I'm driving down the road on my way to work, and they're talking about raising the cigarette tax. And they said, we're going to raise the cigarette tax $2 because we want to fix the roads and get people to stop smoking. And I was like, you know what? I don't have a PhD in anything, but I'm smart enough to know that if people stop smoking, you're not going to have any money to fix the roads. And if you have money to fix the roads, it's because people are smoking. And if you say that you're raising the tax to do both, you're lying to me, and I'm not supporting you anymore. And that's when I got up and said, I'm running for office, but I'm not running as a Republican, because all they're doing is lying, and I'm not going to be part of a pack of liars. And that's why anytime somebody says to me, hey, you know, if you ran as a Republican, you'd win. I go, no. First of all, they'd never let me on their ballot because I won't lie for them.
Yeah, they do what they could to stop it.
Oh, no. And I don't want to be associated with that. What somebody who's been who's entrenched in the Republican infrastructure, running a commercial saying, I'm the only political outsider running for governor. Well, how can you do that? I don't know. And for Pete's sake, please don't say, oh, and he's a good Christian man, because you can't lie that bad.
Yeah.
And no, you're not. He can't. He knows that's a lie.
Absolutely.
Both of them do. Every time Mike Braun says it's a lie.
Yeah.
It's just aggravating.
Yeah. And, you know, and that's interesting. And to that point, that's kind of walking now over into the campaign issue. And you've hit on it a little bit, you know, but obviously right now here in the state, we have the big ordeal going on. Matter of fact, you and I sat down at the state 2 years ago and watched them as they kicked off about 8 or 9 different representative candidates, couple Senate candidates, and it was just disgusting. And now we've got a candidate that's actually fighting that. We've got our state Secretary of State's office that's fighting back against that, because, you know, that's what they do. They try to protect each other. That's all the state government's doing right now, is working to insulate themselves against the people or against candidates wanting to run against them. You know, what are your thoughts on that? You know, as someone who's running for governor, if elected, you know, what are your thoughts on that? The what's going on with this this campaign or the election suit that's currently ongoing? And
first of all, I think that the Indiana State Constitution and the United States Constitution lays out the requirements to run for office.
Yes.
For example, for governor, the requirement to run for office is you have to be 30 years old. I'm twice that, so I could run twice. Oh, wait, I am running twice. But seriously, 30 years old and a resident of the state of Indiana for 5 years. Well, I've lived here most of my life. Other than that, as far as I'm concerned, any other requirement to get on the ballot, hey, that's unconstitutional.
Yes.
Yeah.
I believe that public primaries are unconstitutional. We should not be using tax dollars to pay for primary elections. Parties can pick their candidates, their nominees, at private conventions funded by the parties.
Yeah.
And then we'll have taxpayer-funded general elections. It's that simple.
Yeah, I don't know why that's such a hard concept. I mean, hell, they do it with the some of the most top positions. They already do it with governor and secretary of state. They don't want to leave that to chance of.
Well, now governor they do governor in a primary.
Yeah, that's what I'm
But
saying.
lieutenant governor, they do that at their convention.
Yeah.
Secretary of State, they do it at their convention.
Yeah.
And here's the thing. Why do we have public primaries? Because it's a manipulation tactic.
Yes.
It's a way to make you think you have a say.
Yep.
You don't have a say because here again, you can only vote for the people that they let you vote for during the primary.
Exactly.
If they don't want somebody on the primary ballot, they find a way to keep them off. So you don't.
So where
Oh, well,
some taxpayer?
I want to address Alva's question here. Can I?
Question. Yeah.
Okay.
How can a libertarian be governor and make any changes with a Republican supermajority? So President Theodore Roosevelt, I'll call him Teddy because we were close. Teddy Roosevelt said that the most powerful thing the president has is the bully pulpit. And I'm going to apply that to the governor. If you elect me governor of the state of Indiana, that means that I have a mandate to do the things I said I was going to try to do as governor. I go and I find people in the General Assembly who will work with me. When nobody will work with me, I go and I find people who have microphones and cameras called the media. And I sit down and I talk to the media and I tell them, the people of the state of Indiana elected me to eliminate the state income tax. The state Senate proposed eliminating the state income tax in 2023. But now they won't do it because I'm a libertarian.
Right.
So evidently in 2026, if you want all the things done that you elected me to do, you're going to have to elect enough libertarians in the Indiana General Assembly to get the votes passed.
Yeah.
To do it. That's how you work with them.
Yeah.
Because if I go in front of the TV cameras and say that enough, the Republicans will start playing ball.
Mm-hmm.
Do you really think that Suzanne Crouch came up with Axe the Tax on her own? You think that they decided, oh, we need to? No. Rainwater ran on getting rid of the income tax in 2020, and they realized that people responded to that, and they want to get their 10% back. They only want 1% voting for me. 10%, that's too much.
Well, isn't the difference that you meant it when you said it?
I'm sorry, say that again.
Isn't the difference that you meant it?
Yes, that is the difference. Absolutely.
I love it.
And here's the thing. I guarantee, people ask me all the time, you're not giving us enough details on what you would do and how you would do it. And I'm like, why would I do that? Suzanne Crouch has already stole the income tax from me. Somebody else is going to grab a hold of something and go, I've got an idea. Let's do real universal school choice where you can go to any school you want. Wait a minute, Rainwater already said that.
Yeah.
The more you tell them, the more they'll use. See, I want to catch them off guard.
Yeah.
I want to, now I don't want to wait until a debate that's 3 weeks after early voting started, like we did in 2020.
Right.
I want to get out there and you have no idea how many people contacted me after the first debate. I didn't know who you were. I already early voted. How do I get my vote back? I want to vote for you.
Yes.
Well, vote on election day.
Yeah.
That's
yes.
how you get your.
Yes.
Yeah. Now, I'm not against early voting. Don't get me wrong. I am not against early voting. I don't care if we early vote. I don't care if we have 24 hours of voting on election day. That's not. But if you're going to hold a statewide, that's right, Clinton, any school you want. Who in the world decided that a bunch of lawyers and business owners who sit down at the septic tank called 200 West Washington Street, that's the State House, knows better than you where your kid ought to go to school and what they ought to learn? And Clinton, I'm all for paper ballots. Absolutely.
Yeah.
I am perfectly. Now, I've been a software engineer for 25 years. And I know a lot of people are very, very, very worried about technology and voting. And I get it. And I'm fine with paper ballots. But I can also tell you that there are very, very secure ways. I mean, we do online banking, and don't think most people don't think a thing about it. They pay their bills online. They check their bank balance online. Perfectly comfortable doing that. But voting is too. No, the problem is that our government is too corrupt.
Yes.
It's not that the technology isn't safe. It's the people we've got running our government that ain't safe.
Exactly.
Yes.
Oh no, you're right, Clinton. Hacking will always be possible. I don't disagree with that at all.
Yeah.
All I'm telling you is this. It's just as easy to bring in a box of paper ballots that were filled out before it. And that's the other thing. People say, well, do you think the 2020 election was fixed? I think the 1992 election was fixed. I mean, let's be honest, folks. They've been cheating us for decades.
Yeah.
They've got control of billions, trillions of dollars. And we just sit here and let them do it. And that's the problem. The problem isn't with the voting machines or with the problem is we are letting them get away with all of it.
Yeah.
Because we keep voting for people who don't represent us.
Yeah.
You're right, Clinton. You're absolutely right. If your data is not safe, it's stolen. Absolutely.
Well,
but here again,
bot, so.
Huh?
Yeah.
Clinton's a bot. Don't listen to him.
Well, that's all right.
I'm just kidding.
Here's the thing. It's just like I was talking to somebody earlier today because we were talking about the whole, we need stricter gun laws. No, because criminals don't care what law you pass. Here, you pass a law about criminals not having guns. There's a law against murder. If somebody shoots somebody to death, they obviously don't care about the law.
Right.
And my thing is well, if we got rid of the guns, it would get rid of the gun violence. Well, if we got rid of cars, there'd be no drunk driving. So let's pull all the cars off the road. Let's all walk. Does that make sense? No, it doesn't. Not at all. Because the car's not the problem. The person is.
Yep.
The person's the problem when they're drunk driving. The person's the problem when they're using a gun or anything else to commit an act of violence. And I posted this on Facebook the other day, and I'll say it here. The key to reducing, you'll never get rid of violence, but the key to reducing violent crime, any crime, is to make the penalty for crime more unpleasant than the benefit of doing the crime is pleasant.
Yeah.
See, that's where the problem is. If I'm willing, you know what they used to have the cliche, don't do the crime if you can't do the time. Well, the reality is that's where we've gone wrong. We now have a system of justice where there is no justice, where people don't pay for the crimes they commit. And we're too busy trying to convict people of victimless crimes that shouldn't be crimes.
Yeah. On that topic, we had a question earlier in the evening from Joe Tompkins, and he asked, how much money is Indiana missing out on by not legalizing cannabis? It's a plant. Let's get the government out of the garden. And, I know because we've talked to you, but just for the couple people that might be watching this, their first run, obviously as a libertarian, what say you on the legalization and decriminalization aspect?
Well, I think we should decriminalize and legalize cannabis entirely. It makes no sense to me that the man who is now Brad Chambers' campaign manager, who used to be the chairman of the Indiana Republican Party, can own a whole chain of liquor stores.
Yeah.
But there hasn't been enough research done on cannabis. Evidently, all 4 states around us disagree. And I would say that according to Governor Holcomb, he did his own research in college. and now he said that, I didn't. He said he smoked it in college.
Yeah.
He also says it was a gateway drug, so I'm curious which gate he went through. Here's the thing: if cannabis is so terrible, I mean, it must be awful. It made him governor.
Look what it did.
I'm just so tired of all of the and there are people who have moral objections to cannabis, just like they have moral objections to alcohol.
Sure.
And that's fine, but that's a different question.
Yeah.
Whether something should be a crime is not the same as, do I think it's morally right or wrong? Do we arrest everybody who cheats on their spouse? It's morally wrong,
right?
But it's not illegal. Do we arrest everybody who calls in sick to work and goes and plays golf? It's morally wrong, but it's not illegal.
Yeah.
Do we arrest people who speak out in meetings inappropriately?
Yes.
Hey, don't interrupt me. But see, that's the thing. And here again, I understand. Okay, I have a perfectly. I have my own opinions on alcohol, tobacco, cannabis, prescription narcotics. I have my own opinion on all of these things. But what I think, or what I believe is morally right or morally wrong, has nothing to do with whether or not something should be legal.
Sure.
Mm-hmm.
And that's where we've run afoul. We've let somebody who benefits financially from cannabis being illegal tell us the big lies and convince us that, cannabis is bad. Oh, it's bad.
Yeah.
If cannabis should be illegal, then Vicodin, Lortab, OxyContin, all of those things should be illegal too. But they're not because they're manufactured by a pharmaceutical company.
Yeah.
Have a lot more potential to be deadly.
Yeah, absolutely.
So to tie this kind of back, you mentioned before about how it seems like our representatives aren't actually listening to us. They're not representing us. They're representing the almighty dollar. And the marijuana thing, I was looking the other day at some legislative survey results. The House Majority Leader, Republican, in his survey, 2 questions really jumped out at me. He asked, straight ticket voting allows voters to select a political party instead of casting an affirmative vote for individual candidates. Do you support eliminating straight ticket voting? 56%, so vast majority of his constituents said yes, because only 32% no, 12% were undecided. And another question on, do you support the legalization of medical marijuana? The majority there, 45%, said yes, 12% undecided, 43% said no. So they asked the constituents what they want to happen, get the answers. There are no bills that he put forward to either A, legalize marijuana, or B, eliminate straight ticket voting. So why even spend the taxpayer dollars to send out this mailer and ask? That just blows my mind. I mean, just to reinforce your whole point that we're not being represented, I mean, that's kind of crazy to me. And we've been talking about that for a couple of years, Christopher and I. Every time those surveys come in, we like to go over them now and kind of review them. And a lot of those questions are kind of set up in a way that they're going to get the answer they want anyway. But
Yeah.
the fact
all polls
don't
are
act
done that way. And I'll tell you, I like to sum it up this way. A man named Samuel Clemens, you might know him as Mark Twain, once said there are lies, damn lies, and statistics.
Yep.
And there's nothing more statistical than a poll. Because the reality is that the answers they get, they know exactly how to get the percentages that they want by how they frame the questions and the order they ask the questions in and the questions they don't ask. You see, one of the things that will happen after the May primaries, somebody will do a poll that will ask, who are you voting for governor? The Republican or the Democrat?
Because that's the only options, right?
That's right. That's the only options we're giving you in the poll.
That's ridiculous.
And then
Absolutely.
they say, well, the Libertarian has no support. No. The Libertarian was not mentioned in the poll.
Yeah.
Yep.
I've had pollsters call me and ask me, do you normally vote Republican or Democrat? Neither. So you don't vote? Oh, I vote every election. Well, but then you vote Republican or Democrat? No.
No.
No, I'm a Libertarian. Oh, well, thank you. Have a nice day.
Yeah, yeah, right.
Bye.
That's hilarious.
Uh,
So we got a couple of I know
Yeah.
we're getting late. I don't want to hold you too
Yeah, I
long. But
apologize. We're good.
no,
Yeah.
no,
But go
you're
ahead.
fine. And we've got you 2 more times before the election's over. But I want to ask you just a couple questions so these people don't rough me up. Obviously, I mean, some of these questions, like I know the answer to, and I feel like being a libertarian, it's rough. But obviously, you're a libertarian. You know, someone said ask the 5 points of the First Amendment. You know, obviously, you're a First Amendment, you know, supporter all the way there. You know, I don't really know what they're wanting to know there.
Well,
you support that, right?
Now, so first of all, let me say this, that, if I can sit here and say, okay, let's see, we have the first freedom, which is freedom of religion.
Mm-hmm.
And then we have freedom of speech, freedom of the press, freedom of assembly. And I know that there's another one because he's got 5. He's trying to trick me up, and he got me. Woo! You got me there,
Redressing.
Jack.
Yep, redressing.
But here again,
that's okay, Don, because here in Indiana, pretty soon we won't have freedom of redress, so it's cool.
Right.
Yeah.
But here again, whether I can quote those off the top of my head, notice there's not anything on the top of my head.
Yeah, right.
The reality is that there are freedoms that are not enumerated.
Yes.
And the 9th and 10th Amendments are just as important as the first and the
Yes.
second.
Yep.
And I will tell you this, that one of the things that's being, big in the news right now is the fact that our state house members, our representatives and senators in the state house can carry firearms in the state house.
Yes.
Their staffers can, but you and I can't.
Yeah.
And I'm sorry, but there's a very simple thing with the Second Amendment. Shall not be infringed.
Yep.
Yes.
It's not shall not be infringed unless they want to keep you from carrying in the state house. See, and this is the thing, I've had people, oh, well, that's an infringement on your freedom of speech, or the Bill of Rights is about what the government cannot do.
Yes.
You see, if I don't want to have an argument with you, I don't have to turn on comments on Facebook.
Right.
You don't have a right to call me names on Facebook.
Right.
But the government should not be allowed to tell you at a school board meeting or any other public government gathering that you're being disruptive and that you have to leave.
Well, that's like we said.
You have freedom of speech. You have now. Here again, I'm a libertarian, so I believe in the non-aggression principle.
Yeah.
If you become aggressive, if you threaten physical harm, that's different. If you become physically aggressive, if you damage property, that's different.
Sure.
But if you stand up and go, you're full of it, you have the right to be disruptive.
Right.
That's throwing tea in the harbor, baby.
Yeah. Right. And that's what we've said. There's already laws in place to stop crimes from occurring. So if someone crosses that line, have at it.
That's right. That's right.
But I forgot about
The problem is our government doesn't want to hear it.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I forgot about the carrying in the State House bill, but that's another thing we've been railing on is so many bills this session are, like Christopher said in the beginning, are to just basically protect and shield and basically hold these officials to a higher standard or put them on a higher level than the average citizen. I mean, they've got so much security around that State House. Why do they need to carry? Well, if it's that unsafe, then why can't we carry? Oh, well, they're just special and they need special treatment. It's insane.
It is. Well, the thing is, here again, we don't have government of, by, and for the people. We just don't.
Well, until we elect you.
Yeah, right.
Well, and here again, and I tell people all the time, it's not electing one guy isn't going to get it done. That's only the beginning.
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's true.
It's a good start.
Go ahead. Yeah. It's a good start. It's a good start. Well, we've had you on here for a bit, and I know we'll give you the last word here in a second, but I do want to ask you this question. I told this person I would get to it. There's been somebody that has been questioning all this time, and this kind of ties into what I would normally ask here. So first of all, if people want to follow you, we've got your links up. If they want to get, find you on Facebook or go to rainwaterforindiana.com. That's your website. Does it tell where you're going to be, where people can listen to you if they want to come talk to you in person? There's a specific person in here that's asked a couple times, is there a way that they can meet you in person, request a meeting or whatnot, because apparently they've got some questions as it pertains to child care and whatnot.
Yes, and I know who that individual is. I've seen that. And here's the thing, and I think she's actually reached out on Facebook direct messenger. But if you want to reach out directly to the campaign, the best way to do that is to go to rainwaterforindiana.com, click the contact button, fill out the contact form there, and we will try to figure out a way to get a dialogue going. There are events. We post events on the event page there. And I understand, and Jen, I'm going to be honest with you, okay? As a Libertarian candidate, I unfortunately don't have the deep pockets and all the $1 million donors, and I have to work a job just like most people do, and I've got a family, and I've got other things. I go to church and try to work with the youth group a little bit, and I get kind of busy, and so I apologize. We're trying to get, and we get a lot of people that want to talk and want to have a conversation, and I understand. But let me say this: I understand the gravity of what FSSA is proposing in cutting that Medicaid funding for parents who have children at home that they need to care for full time. And that's just wrong, okay? And I do stand with you. But please understand, until I get elected governor of the state of Indiana, I'm just another citizen like you. I don't have any more pull or any sway over anybody other than the fact that I've got a big, loud mouth. and I use it, as you've seen here tonight. Okay? So please understand, I would love to talk to you about your situation, but I have people reach out to me all the time and go, "Can you help?" And I go, "Nope." Not until I get elected. I have no power. I am just as powerless as everybody else watching this podcast tonight.
Or as powerful as long as we unite, come together, use it, and elect good candidates.
Right. Absolutely.
So that's the thing there. And I will tell you, first of all, Lynn, I want to say thank you for your $1.99 donation to the channel here. Thank you very much for that. I also want to say, if you I've not seen you around here before, so maybe you're someone that's just jumped on because we're interviewing Rainwater. Thank you for tuning in. And if you subscribe, you can do that for free. If you hang out here and become part of the people, we would love to talk with you and help you. And if there's anything that we can do to help and to give you a platform and express that, we do what we can here too. So thank you for tuning in tonight, and stick around. We'll see what we can do for you.
Speaking of donations.
Yeah. Speaking of donations, if anybody wants to donate in a way that is meaningful, that can really help, we would really like it if you would go to Rainwater's, www.rainwaterforindiana.com/donate to what?
I did while we were sitting here and you guys were
wow.
That's right. And thank you so much for that.
And it's only $20, but it counts, and it's going to make a difference.
Absolutely. And as a matter of fact, it's February 1st, 2024. So if you want to make a donation to the campaign, and you want me to know specifically that you made that donation because you saw this podcast, and you can donate $21.24 for February 1st, 2024. When we did this, that will let me know.
Yeah.
$21.24 that you saw this podcast on the Political Spotlight with Brandon and the other guy.
And then we get our cut.
Yeah. You get your cut when I cut your taxes.
I'll take it.
Right.
I will take it.
I love it. Well, Don, is there anything that we haven't said that you would like to express? Your last thoughts before we let you go.
Yeah. Right before I ask for money one more time, I'm going to tell you this, folks. We do not live in I'm 60 years old this year. We do not live in the Indiana I grew up in. If you have children or you have grandchildren, what Indiana are you going to leave them? What kind of an Indiana do you want them to live in? Do you want them to live in a liberty society where they have the right to choose their own destiny? Or do you want them to live in the corporatist society that the current government is creating? It's been going on for a long time, and it's going to get worse if we don't put a stop to it. So please, if you keep doing what you're doing, you'll keep getting what you're getting. Vote different in 2024. I need your vote, and other liberty, not people who use the word liberty or who talk about being a liberty candidate and then do the same old status quo stuff that the people that are in there now do. Real liberty-minded candidates. Vote, volunteer, donate, make a difference for your kids and your grandkids, because they're the ones who are going to have to live in the society that we leave them by how we vote today. And with that, I tell you again, rainwaterforindiana.com, go click that donate button Every little bit helps. We'd love to have $21.24 so that we know that you donated because you saw this podcast.
I love it.
Chris and Brandon will really, really appreciate that they know that you're watching. Thanks so much, folks.
Hey, as always, it was a great evening. I think we've got you scheduled 2 more times throughout the campaign. We'll see if it's wearing you down or building you up. I can only hope that you are continue picking up steam as always. We'll do whatever we can, and I'm glad that you're running for the people, and glad that we can help in whatever part that we have, and I wish you all of the best moving forward, and we'll see what happens.
Well, we appreciate it, guys.
Oh, for sure. It's always a pleasure talking with you, for sure.
Well, It's always a pleasure to talk to you guys and to be able to talk to your audience.
Very good. Well, thank you very much, sir, and you have a great evening.
All right, you too.
Yep.
We'll talk
Good night.
to you later. Bye.
Yes. Bye. All right, ladies and gentlemen, that was Mr. Donald Rainwater, and of course, that was that. I do want to talk to a couple people real quick, and just let you know, we try to do our best to answer questions that people ask, and there are always some questions that people ask that, like, I've asked Don like 10 times. So, like, I'm like, okay, I'll try to answer that. And I know it's probably, you're like, I'd like to hear him say it. But I tell you, if you watch this and you put any trust in me at all, I tell you, I will not lie to you about this. So for a couple things, number one, I want to let you guys know, Don does believe that there should be a way to deal with elected officials if they're not cutting the mustard, you know what I mean, doing the things they want to do. And I know that Joe's asked that, so we've talked about that before. And I want to let you guys know, any of our old interviews with Rainwater, all of the interviews I've done with him on Perception is Reality, they're all still there. I did 3 or 4 interviews with him on Perception is Reality in 2020, and I know it was a whole different year and a whole different time then, but they're still valid. You could go back and listen to those. They're still there, so please consider that. All you would need to do is you need to go into Google, and you would just simply search Perception is Reality with Kristopher H. Bilbrey, Donald Rainwater, and it would pop up.
So he's sending messages in the private chat.
Yeah.
Ballot initiatives, referendums, and recalls.
Oh, yes.
Actually put up a link for us, so I'll get that shared in the chat for everyone.
Yeah. So he's definitely talked about that in the past. So that's a big thing. So I just wanted people to know that. And again, I want to say thank you to Jen for the $1.99 donation here to the channel. And thank you for saying that you would donate to Rainwater's campaign. And
check out his website. It's very user friendly. It's a good website. He's got tabs for, like, it talks about all of his issues. He's got it's really easy. It shows where his donation is. That's nicely laid out. He's got some of his interviews and stuff on there. Some of our interviews with him. One of our not interviews with him. We got some different stuff on there. So it's a good site. You guys should check it out, and definitely, if you can, donate and figure that all out. So
I love it. Yeah, it's a good way. It's a good way to get information on him. And I really tell you guys, if you can go and listen to him talk in person, if you go to any of the Libertarian events throughout the various counties, or you find events where he's going to be speaking, it's a good time. I like Don because he's serious, and this is a very serious issue, but he does this with some levity and lighthearted. He's a human being. I don't know. I've not really poked with my finger many of these elected officials, but I kind of question sometimes if they're actually humans or not. But I believe that Don is a real life actual human like the rest of us. So that's kind of important to me. And, I respect what he's done in life and where he's been and what he's trying to do. But he cannot do it alone. He needs our help. And just like we talk about, whether you're talking about local elections at the Delaware County, we want to get rid of Commissioner James King. We need to push in Brand. Well, we have to do that. Brand can't do it on his own. Rainwater can't just walk into the governor's office. He needs our help. He needs our help. And for everyone who says, well, he's a third party, that's a waste of a vote, I'm not doing that. What you're doing when you're doing that is you're making that a self-fulfilling prophecy. What we need to be saying is he can win if we vote for him. So we need to vote for him. And I need to tell everybody, I always tell people, we spend so much time on social media, on X or Twitter, whatever you want to call it, on Instagram and on TikTok and Facebook, posting just absolute bullshit. What would happen if one post out of the day, or one post out of the week, or one post out of the month, if you would share, hey, I support Donald Rainwater. Hey, I support Steve Brand. Hey, I support Amber Green. Hey, I support Bethany Keller, or I support, whoever your elected official or candidates that you're supporting. What if you did that? And what if you ask your followers and your friends, to ask you questions or to jump on board to support them? What if in your text messages, because I see so many people have signature lines in their text messages where they tell jokes or they say little stupid stuff, or they say like, may the force be with you. All that stuff's great. What if for the last month before each election, you posted, please vote for Donald Rainwater for governor, and put that in as your signature. Put it in as your emails, whatever. There's all sorts of ways that you can help spread the message. Instead of that extra cat video that you're posting on Facebook, post this link. I see so many people post, hey, I just watched Bilbrey's podcast. Go check it out. But they don't tell people the name of the podcast. They don't tell people where they can check it out. They don't tell people what it was about. And I'm like, I love when people say, hey, I just liked Bilbrey's podcast and watched it. But the thing is, if you copy and paste the link and post it in there, people are lazy. They're not going to go search something out, but they will click on a link, especially if the link has a video. So, you have to take agency in trying to get the government that you want, or you get the government you deserve, so keep that in mind. That's kind of what's going to happen. But what would I vote for, Bilbrey? I have never voted, but what I would vote for, Bilbrey. I don't know. What would you vote for, Jack? What would you like to vote for? Rainwater? You want to vote for me? I'd run. Will you vote for me if I'd run? You could vote for Brandon.
Yeah, vote for Rudd, man. Rudd for the win.
Yeah. So I didn't get this. I ordered me some, but I don't know where it's at. I'm really pissed off that I didn't get it the same day that Brandon did. But are you going to try your gift?
Yeah, I can. Right now, I'm donating to Donald Rainwater, and I was trying to donate to 2124, and at first I put in 21,000.
Oh, do that!
I was like, well, let's not do that. Let's fix
hey,
it. I mean,
if you really cared for Rainwater, you would donate him $21,049 or whatever you said you were going to do.
Oh, geez, I got to prove I'm not a robot. Which one of these have stairs in them?
Oh, my God. And some of those things are so hard. LOL, I actually shared your link. And she made it in. Who made it in? I actually shared your link and she made it in. Well, that's cool. I don't know what exactly that means. If you haven't, if you guys have Facebook and you want to Be friends on Facebook. My Facebook is wide open. You can either follow me or you can go there and send me a friend request. It's Kristopher H. Bilbrey on Facebook. Kristopher with a K. So we can do that. Does it smell good?
Yeah.
So I got to tell you guys all this. The other day, Brandon and I were talking. Just to end this Rainwater thing. Oh yeah, there's my Facebook link right there. You can send me a Facebook request right there. I don't Facebook like regular people. I just post all of the. My friend was in your podcast. Oh, well, that's awesome.
Look how strange that looks.
No, you're fine. Who is your friend, Jen? I love that. That's great. So Brandon and I were talking the other day about the Ninja Turtles, the Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle. What are they called? Cream pies?
Yeah, they're just pies. They're like the Hostess pies that you get. You can still get them at the gas station, right? They're little, like that size, like a semicircle, and it's like they have apple and cherry and whatever. But back in like 1991, per Always Sunny in Philadelphia, they had it is the peak of Ninja Turtle madness. So they had a Ninja Turtle themed pie, and the filling was just like pudding, like a vanilla pudding or something. And then the outside was normal pie crust, but they had like a green glaze on it, which was the only thing that really made it Ninja Turtle themed at all. Was just the fact that it was kind of green.
Just the fact that it was green.
Yeah. So I guess this company is doing nostalgia snacks. So like all these snacks that were discontinued, they're trying to like bring them back in some weird version. So Christopher found this the other day and was kind enough to buy me some. Thanks again, Christopher.
I loved it. I bought me some too.
Yeah, I got him some too. We're going to eat them together, but for some reason his never showed up. But instead of being in pie form, it's like, well, I can show it to you guys again. It's got like bits of the green, like pie crust. And it's almost like a parfait. There's like a layer of crust on the bottom, and then a layer of pudding, and then a layer of crust, and a layer of pudding, and a layer of crust. So it's like, it does smell pretty good. Yeah, just like those pies, except it was green with this neon yellow. It's a weird color.
Yeah, no, these are awesome. And for anybody that is a Always Sunny in Philadelphia fan, you know, they talked about this. Charlie bought the whole big box, and it was a big deal. This is the thing. We both, you know, this is our time period. We loved this. We grew up in this, and I've ate these and you know, thought these were wonderful. And we looked at this and found it, and I thought, he's like, I really want some of this. And so I knew, you know, that his birthday month was coming up. And I thought, you know what, for a birthday month surprise, I'm going to get him some of that stuff to try.
Yeah, and it was very nice. I'm excited. And before I try this, Joe Tompkins, Donald Rainwater specifically said to tell you that he supports the Defend the Garden movement, if we haven't said that yet.
Okay, he does, and he did.
Yes, okay. So now I'm going to try this weird thing. Yeah, it's oh boy.
What? Is it hard? Is it good? Is it?
Oh, there you go. That's what they look like.
Wait, hold on.
Doesn't that look appetizing, like something you would want to eat?
Wait, we can't see you.
Hold on. I'm looking at the picture on here.
Oh,
Does that
yes.
not look like something you want to eat? It looks so differently different.
Oh, yeah, dude. It seems like you could almost crack the green shell off, like in your hand, and have it, you know, like just eat it like as the icing and then eat the thing too.
Dude, I love they stole the slogan. Can you put that back up real quick for just a second?
Yeah.
So it says on the package, vanilla pudding power. Mm-hmm. And then if you look at this container, this one is layers of vanilla pudding power.
Yeah, I love it. So I just wish it said some turtle cream pie for your mouth.
So it's like
that's horrible after you talked about having something sent to his delivery hole.
Yeah, this is turtle cream pie being sent to Brandon's delivery hole straight to his mouth.
It's like not pudding. It's like really light. It's like a fluff.
It's like a fluff.
Yeah, I'm gonna try it.
Now, don't do the same thing. Don't show us your green tongue and all of the strings of slobber. The camera angle's good.
This is our first mukbang on the show. I love it.
Yes! Trisha Paytas, here we come.
So the thing
I can't wait till you weigh as much as I do.
Because I just keep eating this.
You're like that one kid that got real big. What's his name? Nikocado Avocado.
Oh, Nick. Yeah, what is his name? Nikocado Avocado.
Nikocado Avocado. Yeah.
So the thing that's messing me up is I can't remember how it tastes because I haven't eaten it since 1991. So I'm trying to take myself back to remember if this is what I would think it would taste like. I think the filling being kind of whipped, it's kind of messing with me a little bit because it wouldn't have been whipped back then.
Okay.
I mean, it tastes pretty good. I mean, I would eat that. It says there's 14 servings in this jar, and it's 170 calories a serving. The serving is 2 spoonfuls. I guess you're not just supposed to sit here and eat an entire tub of layers of pudding power.
You're not supposed to?
I guess not.
I mean, is it rich?
No, it's not overly rich. It's not overly sweet or anything because I think that's because it's whipped. It's like it's not that heavy. It's almost like, you know how when you have like a normal icing, it's really sugary and kind of heavy, but sometimes the cake will have like that whipped icing and it makes it kind of lighter.
Mm-hmm.
It's kind of like that.
Okay, that's interesting.
And I thought the pie crust would be kind of soggy because it's been stuck in there, but I think because it was whipped like that,
yeah,
it's still kind of crispy.
I wondered about that one but not only did I buy this, but I watched several videos of people eating it, and so I was interested. Well, yeah. So for those of you that don't know, mukbang in the mukbang world, here's Nikocado when he first started, and just about 2.5 years later, this is what this kid turned into. And that's no joke. That's him now. This is him when he started. So I believe we can get Brandon there.
Dude, that is a crazy increase of mass in a very short period of time. That's insane.
Listen, so this kid was a vegan, and he only ate vegan, he wasn't a vegetarian. The vegan is like he didn't eat fish or anything, right?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, so he was like the hardcore vegan. And then he went into the he went into like the mukbang world, and for a long time he like stayed this weight here, and it was like amazing. And then bam, now it's this, and it's like holy crap. About a I think about a 1.5 2-year period.
It's such a weird channel too, because all he does is like disgustingly eat food.
It is so. When I am watching that, I'm in my that's my self-harm. Self-harm is not a joke, and it's not funny, and I know I need to seek help when I'm watching that. I get into a mood or a period where I watch it every now and then, and I do reach out for help, and I get completely, because it is pure trash. Just absolutely insanity.
Well, we have a news update that's almost related, if I can do that real quick.
Absolutely.
I think you know what we're talking about.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you guys heard, in Henry County today, there were 3 explosions that they're investigating. Well, there's a news break right now. They discovered the source of the explosions. Apparently, Sheriff Sproul's 3 of his buttons finally gave up on his tiny little shirt. And it was heard throughout the county.
For those of you hearing explosions throughout Randolph or whatever county you live in, let's try that again. For those of you hearing explosions throughout Henry County, never fear. It was 3 buttons from Sheriff Sproul's tiny little medium uniform.
In related news, the stocks on undersized uniforms are through the roof. Apparently, he's had to purchase a whole bunch of new ones. So
Somebody said, though, however, his face is getting really large, and that normally happens when sheriffs, when someone goes from being on the road to being someone who sits behind a desk. Although he doesn't sit behind a desk, he's out in the field getting all sorts of lawsuits against him. But apparently, his face still manages to get fat doing that, and so I feel for him. Maybe he's eating some Teenage Mutant Ninja Turtle cream pies.
well, the alternative was beanbag shots going off, so it could be worse.
Yeah, absolutely. It was explosive.
Explosives.
Well, this would be an explosive. Wait a minute. I thought you were making fun of. Well, cool. So it's kind of making fun of the exclusive word and the explosives word. So it all works together. So yeah, that was a good joke that Brandon wrote, and I'm glad that you did that.
Write a joke every once in a while.
For the record, last night I did dare Connie to use the word frivolous lawsuit, and to my knowledge, she has not done so yet. So I think she's a loser, and that proves that they're losers. So we win.
We'll call that a win.
That's a win. The only other thing that I feel like I need to say, what is today? Today's the 1st. It's February 1st. Happy not April Fool's Day. I just have been thinking about it being April Fool's Day for like 2 months nearly. Anyways, the
all first April Fool's Day.
What?
All firsts are April Fool's Day, apparently.
Yeah, right. We're still in the filing period, folks. If you're interested in running for office, or someone that's interested, they have to get filed by a week from tomorrow. A week from tomorrow at noon in either your clerk office in the state of Indiana or the Indiana State House, depending on what you're running for. So keep that in mind. And then the only other thing that I've got to say is we definitely there's a Muncie City Council meeting on Monday. There's also a Delaware County Commissioners meeting on Monday. I think there's a Randolph County Commissioners meeting on Monday. And there's also this illegal, and it's not illegal, it's this no.
The word
unethical,
you're looking for is bullshit.
Immoral bullshit. Bullshit.
That's all, folks.
Meeting that the Delaware County Commissioners and Council will be having in some formulation, and we think that that's wrong and people should be demanding it. And I'm going to start really yelling this out. We need to be demanding it loudly, making signs, letting people know stuff about, hey, we don't want these commissioners meeting in closed door meetings. We do not want Sproles to be sheriff anymore. We're to the point where people really need to be shouting this loudly and proudly and standing together in unison, folks, because these people are reaching a level of just complete insanity. And it's like we're responsible for the things that they do at this point, because we just continue letting them do it. So keep that in mind. Hey, this is obviously the last show technically of this week. We're off tomorrow. Brandon is going off to some birthday celebration stuff this weekend, but we will be here. Did you hear this?
I don't know if I heard
Saturday, we're having a very special bonus show at 3 p.m.
Really?
John Rust. It's the only time John Rust could come on.
Oh, that'll be fun.
I wanted to hold it till time that you could be here. So if you have any questions, you might type them up and send them my way, I'll be sure to ask. But
Are you streaming anything on Saturday?
what?
Are you streaming something on Saturday?
Yeah, I'm streaming our interview at 3 p.m.
Well, I mean, other than that, the thing in the morning.
Oh, yes. Yes. I'm glad that he told us. There is also you reminded me, there is also a very special, like Third House.
Yeah, they call them Third House Legislative Update.
Third House Legislative Update with none other than Mr. J.D. Prescott and Todd Holdman. Is that his name? His real name? I don't even know his real name now.
Travis Holdman. You were so close. You had his last name right
Yeah,
this time, which is what you usually get wrong. So you're getting there.
Travis Holderman. And it's going to be in Blackford County. So I'll be there and trying to ask questions and not get arrested and videoing. So we'll let you know what goes on with that. And I will either live stream it or I will record it and put it up as static. Just depends on how the Wi-Fi is. I'll let you know. But we'll be using the handy dandy new microphone system. So you guys can keep that in mind. So thank you all very much for watching. Big happy birthday shout out to Brandon. And please help spread this word. Share the show with everyone you know. And be looking for a bunch of shorts. I cut last night's Sproles show down to its own show, but I'm going to make a bunch of shorts from last night's show and a bunch of shorts from this show. And we need to be shooting that stuff out into the world, folks. And I'm going to count on you guys to help with that. So you're planning on going to jail Saturday morning. How are you going to do Saturday afternoon show? Hey, because if I go to jail, I'm going to try to be out of there within a couple of hours. I always take bail money with me. So I don't know. Hopefully they don't lock me into any chairs or anything like that. That would be insane. Dude, I can't ever go to jail in Henry County because they would kill me.
Probably.
So,
and we've got merch, right? Like we keep showing the Sproul shirt, but
yeah,
the Sproul shirt is available, right?
Yeah, that Sproul shirt is really seriously available. We do have live actual merch. If you go, it's at the bottom of the screen. Do you need official merch that show that you love or hate the political spotlight? If so, click the following link. And it's really easy. You can click that and go there. It's in the description of every episode. If you actually go to like our episode and you watch one of our episodes, you can find it. Oh, you shared that. I was like, who shared this? Look, I'll show you here. There's the Sproul shirt. But if you actually go here to an episode, look there, that's me. And you scroll down here and you go to the description and you go past the description, you go past this. It says, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that notification bell. Join the channel as a monthly member. You can do that. That's a great way to help out here. Or you can always click this button right here. Do you need official merch to show that you love or hate the political spotlight? If so, click the following link.
Yeah, let's check it out. Let's see if we have any Freedom hats.
Click on that, and then it takes me to another page that I have to share. And I'll do
I
this.
always hate that with the sharing.
Yeah, right. And then we're here, and you can see, wow, there's one of our logos. Here's some mugs and some shirts.
Dude, that mug is fire.
Yeah, it is. Which mug? One? This one?
Oh yeah, that's cool.
Or this one? Which one?
Well, they're both cool, but I particularly like that one on the left.
Yeah, me too. Yeah, Kate made that.
Yeah, I like that one.
Here are the shirts, hoodies. There's a little creature. Here's some of these tumblers that people asked for. Here's a beanie hat with our PS logo on it. And here's one with the actual political spotlight logo. And the embroidery on that looks amazing. Here's some Sproles. We need to get some new shirts on there. and more things. I'm not really the best at these. Kate's really good. But if you've got ideas for merchandise, if you want to see something specific, let us know.
Or he's asking about travel mugs. Can you click on the travel mug? Yeah.
What is it? Travel mug right here?
Right there.
Is that a tumbler?
That's kind of the same thing, right? Yeah, I'd call it a tumbler travel mug.
It's stainless steel, 24 ounce, 20 ounce, I mean.
Ooh, that's a venti.
Yeah.
Yeah, that's cool looking too. That's like it's a lot like that mug. That like it's pretty slick.
Yep. It actually has the lighthouse on it, but you can't see it. It's on the other side of that.
Can't rotate. It's kind of like on the side or something. So
yeah, it's like right here, I promise you. So that's there. Yeah, it looks like that, but for some reason...
So yeah, they don't have all three views.
Yeah. I like those rocks. These rocks I made by hand.
Whoa.
Yeah.
That's quality, guys. That's how you know.
Yeah, absolutely. I'm in the sweatshop making this daily, so order some of that crap, and a good deal. I can see one headed my way soon. Well, let us know how that works out for you. Lighthouse reminds me of Pentecostal church. Well, get out your jean skirt and grow your hair, and be here at 3 p.m. On Saturday, and or earlier if I live stream, and then after that I will be back here at 9 p.m. on Sunday, and we'll go from there. There will be no show Friday night or Saturday night, but we will have a special show at 3 p.m. on Saturday where we will be talking to Mr. John Rust. He is running for Indiana State Senate, and no, excuse me, scratch that. He's running for United States Senate, a senator from Indiana. So he's running for the big boy office, and he is the candidate that is currently fighting the unconstitutional deal with the two primaries. So that
he's
should be
the better candidate. So
yeah. And he said, I am an open book. I will answer anything that you guys ask. Period.
Oh, that's a challenge.
Yeah, that's what I said. You can't wear that lighthouse into this meeting, sir. No shit. All right. Thank you guys very much. Take care. God bless. Have a good evening and a good rest of your week. And we will see you on Saturday. Happy birthday, Brandon. Good night. God bless. Goodbye.
Bye. Thank you, Castle Lord.
Yeah. Thank you, Castle Lord. Not even my birthday, but thank you anyways. What's 6 mean?
I don't know, man. I'm eating getting my pudding tower.
Yeah.
He's gonna loudly eat this in the
That's a mukbang now. Mukbang. Look at that. It looks like Rainwater's just staring at us unapprovingly.
Yeah, because I'm eating some it's like a mukbang and a what's the other one?
ASMR.
Yeah, like an ASMR mukbang.
A porno.
Yeah, people love that.
Oh.
It's just pretty good.
I like the background I made here. This is really good thing. The return of Rainwater. Rights to the people.
Episode 5 of Star Wars, Return of Rainwater.
We've got an hour to finish that pie.
Oh, do I have to turn the half? I want it. Probably 50 green now.